Tape www.suividecolosénégal.com. À École au Sénégal, c'est facile, tu n'as qu'à te connecter. Tape École au Sénégal, les leçons sont beaucoup plus détaillées.
Topics. We're back with the issue of fear. We looked at preference, we looked at hope, and now we're going to look into fear. Fear. What is fear? Fear is really something dark, negative. It's a shade. Fear is a feeling, it's a gut feeling about something that is about to happen. It's a threat that could be harmful, painful, or dangerous. That is fear. It's a feeling, it's a state of mind or emotion that can cause you to fear about something that's going to happen. It's either going to be detrimental to you, it's probably going to hurt you, it's going to be dangerous to you, it's going to be painful, it's going to be harmful, it's going to hurt you, it's going to cause a lot of pain. That is a fear. It's a kind of emotion with fear. And fear brings about a lot of negativities. It comes up because you're probably worried about something. You're being concerned about something. You're having sleepless nights about something. You're feeling uneasy about something or someone. You're feeling uncomfortable about something or someone. All these bring about fear. It causes you really, sometimes you even have sleepless nights about it. Sometimes you're confused. Fear brings about all these things. Just because why? You're afraid that it might either cause a harm or it might be painful. And this fear sometimes could either be physical, it's as a result of threats that can result into physical or psychological. These are threats, emotions. They are threats that could be either physical or psychological. It acts up on your senses. It acts up in your thinking. It builds up even. And so suddenly you see yourself, your heart starts racing and you're just anxious. You're just, there's a lot of anxiety building in, uneasiness building in, you're not sure, that is all about fear. And it's terrible fear. It's a negative form of it. That is fear. It's so negative, And at the extreme of fear comes about phobia. And phobia is an irrational feeling. Irrational because you cannot really explain it sometimes. That is why it's been termed an irrational fear or feeling. It's a phobia. A phobia is a fear of something. If you're afraid of something, that becomes a phobia. And oftentimes the term of phobia has been a medical issue. For example, I am afraid of heights. I'm afraid of flying, and I'm afraid of heights. And that to me is a problem. And being afraid of heights is a name to it, it's an acrophobia. So I am an acrophobic. I'm afraid of heights. Some people will probably be afraid of blood, are afraid of crowded places or confined places. Some people are afraid of water. Some people are afraid of lightning and thunder, like my daughter. There's so many phobias out there, which implies fear of or horror, something that is horrific, that makes you really, really, really uncomfortable. And these phobias are grouped into 5. There's a phobia of natural environment, which could be height, which could be flying. The phobia of animals, it doesn't matter what kind of animals. Some people have a phobia of spiders or snakes or rats or flies even. There are phobias or medical phobias of blood. There are other phobias that you can name them that, but there are thousands of them. Those are phobias and they fall under fear because it's made with fear of, And so we're going to look at fear because fear, the verb of it is to be afraid of. It's the verb afraid. To be afraid of, that is where fear comes from. And I explained to us that fear, it's been anxious about something. You're having anxiety about something. It's being uneasy. It's an alert of danger. It makes a sound, boom, boom, boom. You know, if a thief is trying to come break into your home, you know, it's alerting that there's someone. If you have like an alarm in the house, is alerting. That's exactly how it is. It's an alert of danger. You know, it's an unpleasant emotion. It's so unpleasant. It's so uncomfortable. You know, fear. It's an unpleasant emotion caused by threats of danger. It's caused by threats of danger, of pain, of harm. If someone you think has threatened you, but suddenly everywhere you see that person, you're kind of afraid. Everywhere you hear maybe a knock at the door, you're jumping, you're uneasy about it. That is a threat of danger. That is fear, you know. And the verb is to be afraid of. It's likely to be dangerous, harmful, or painful. Fear is likely. Oftentimes, it's because of something that is dangerous, something that is painful, or something that is harmful that causes you to be afraid of. That builds up the fear in you. You know, and this fear could be either physical, emotional, or psychological. Your emotions build up. Psychologically, you're afraid. Physically, you're afraid. You know, that could be an issue of fear. And yet we talked about phobia. Told us that phobia is an irrational fear. Irrational because sometimes you just cannot explain. And sometimes you can explain, but it's been irrational. That's a fear of, it's a phobia. It's an extreme, you know. And I said there are 5 groups of it: fear of animals, a natural environment, of blood, of medical issues, fear of specific issues like flying, driving, elevator, drowning, and then there are others phobia. And then here I give examples of the phobia. We know that hydro is water. So if you're afraid of water, it means you're hydrophobic. If you're afraid of heights like I do, you're acrophobic. If you're afraid of blood, you know, you're hemophobic. If you're afraid of, every time you see blood, you faint or something, that means you're hemophobic, because hemoglobin, hemos are blood, so it means you're hemophobic. If you're afraid of confined places, you're claustrophobic. It comes from the word closet, like a closet, cluster. So if you're afraid of crowded places or small places or confined places, and then, so therefore, you're claustrophobic. And then autophobic means you're all alone. If you're afraid of being alone all the time, maybe you hear voices or you hear claps or whatever, you're autophobic. So there are lots of other phobics out there. You need to go check them out. But these sometimes could be for medical reasons, maybe because you're not, you know, we fall under medical reasons. But in a nutshell, it's all about fear. And the way to, how do you come about, how do you get out of this fear? It's about trusting yourself. You know, it's about thinking good thoughts, having good thoughts. It's about staying away from certain things that will cause you fear. That is the fear. And of course, fear will make you to do things, you know, that you may not maybe plan on it. You know, fear would have you, and it brings about other issues to you. And then fear as well can cause you to bring about issue of worry that go along. If you're worried about something, worry is a feeling you're troubled about something. Something gives you sleepless nights. Something causes you to be uneasy. That is a worry. It's a trouble about something that has actually happened or something that is potentially to happen, something that is to happen. You worry. Oh my God, is she really going to make these exams? You're worried. Is this marriage going to work? You know, you're worried. Or if somebody made a decision to marry someone that you're not comfortable and the decision has already been made, it means it's something that has already passed, you know. So you're troubled about an actual or potential problem. You're troubled about it. You're worried about it. It's a feeling of anxiety. You're anxious. You fear. And it's a negative. It builds up your emotions. That is worry, you know. And for those that are extremely worry, they feel that it's a medical term called GAD. And GAD is it's an acronym for Generalized Anxiety Disorder. It's a medical term for people that are extremely worried. I mean, they worry about everything, like literally everything. They call them, that they have suffering from what they call the GAD. GAD is called, it's an anonym for generalized anxiety disorder. So, and synonyms for worry is fret. Fret means fear or troubled or disturbed. It brings about worry. And nowadays, a lot of people worry about their finances, they worry about their education, they worry about their marriage, they worry about afterlife, there's so many things that you worry. And oftentimes, these worries, you can't even control them. But then you see yourself worrying about them. So what you have to do is just take a break, take a deep breath, and think positive. You need to think positive. You have to surround yourself by positive people, positive thinking, express yourself. That is it. So fear and worry, they're kind of intertwined, because one is after the other. And it's all about the emotions. It's all about, your thoughts. It's psychological. It's emotional. You feel disturbed. Those are some of the things. So what about you? Have you ever been afraid of something or someone? Are you worried about something or someone? How do you go about it? What causes it? How do you let go of that? Do you have a phobia of something? How come? I told you I have a phobia of heights. I'm an acrophobic. I have a phobia of flying. Whereas I love to fly, I love to travel, but I have that issue. So what about you? Let me know what your phobias are, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.
Senegal,